The classic event was supposed to be Roblox's redemption. After the flop of the hunt, Roblox needed something new. Or maybe, something old. All Roblox players had been asking for since Roblox's modern era started was a blast of the past. A chance to bring back what was once lost on Roblox. Hearing these pleas, Roblox gave us the classic event, a 5-day event where the players can go back in time to collect tokens and ticks in 15 games. This was Roblox's chance to redeem itself, and the hub shows that, filled to the brim with bright blocks and decoration that stays true to old Roblox, much better than what was the slop of the Hunt hub. But most people will skip past that, as the main focus are those 15 portals, each waiting, each beckoning for you to play, to relive the once forgotten era. But as you step into those portals and enter those games, you start to see this true event, and the facade starts to fade. For those who have been living under a rock for the past week or so, Roblox Classic is basically The Hunt 2. Same premise, same execution. However, it is very apparent that Roblox has learned from last time and improved on it. This time around, there are 15 games to explore rather than the previous 100, which is one of the biggest criticisms of the Hunt event, and the hub is a lot more appealing to the eyes than the blues and grays of the Hunt hub. By the sounds of this event sounded like a success, right? Well, not exactly. The event still failed. But why? What caused this event that was clearly meant to be an improvement to fail? It was in the intro. It was in the goddamn intro. Weren't you listening? It was in the intro! It was the game! Well, it wasn't only the games. There were a few other factors, but it was mostly the game's fault. However, I feel like I should cover that other factor first though. But what was it? Oh yeah! It was... On May 7th, 2024, leaks were starting to go around that Roblox was planning to do some sort of classic event. And to say that people weren't excited was an understatement. Most were hating on the event as it seemed like Roblox was trying to start a nostalgia bait. As time went by, more and more leaks were starting to surface, and games started getting 15 mysterious badges. It started to become more and more apparent that Roblox was going to do a classic event. Roblox even teased it when they replied to a tweet asking to choose between old and new Roblox with, "Soon, you won't have to choose." And it all surfaced on May 14th, 2024, when Roblox dropped a bombshell. It was revealed on May 24th, actually May 23rd, Roblox would release The Classic, and it would change everything. Reception to the event was less than ideal, as games like Toilet Tower Defense and Adopt Me were speculated to be in the event, and Roblox started to allude that the classic event would be similar to the Hunt. But then, the redemption happened. It was revealed that 15 games would be in the event, and even Toilet Tower Defense looked promising, and hype was growing and growing, and it seemed like games that was once terrible would have a redemption, and the event would actually be capable. But then, the 23rd hit, and everything came crashing down. So about the games, they were okay for the most part. I mean, some were pretty good and some were really bad. So to give a perspective on which games were good and bad, I'll talk about every game and end it off with a ranking on this conveniently placed tier list. I will rank it based on my experiences alone. Mine, not yours. You hear me? I do not convey with the social standing. These are my experiences, so if you don't like it, deal with it. Anyways, let's begin with... This one was honestly pretty disappointing. It's not bad, but it's not that good either. The event is just using your towers to face off against things already fought against before in the game. All the enemies are reused, which makes me kinda mad due to the fact that 1x1x1x1, the main antagonist of most of these events, actually had a custom model and everything. It couldn't have been that hard to import him as an enemy. Though, I gotta give the event credit where credit's due. The guest scout skin is actually really cool, and Focus, I think that's how you say it, is once again making the greatest OSTs known to man. This is a good baseline for most of the events. B tier. I genuinely can't believe this is happening. Yet again, the parasite known as Toilet Tower Defense wriggles into a Roblox event, and it still sucks. This event has shown me just how unbalanced this game is. On one hand, we have the little guy, who does just an itty bit of damage. And then we have this guy, who is a freaking minigun that you can place for just a tiny bit more money! Just a little bit! Yeah, the balancing in this game is absolutely abysmal. The reward, this guy, is also extremely overpowered. The concept is cool though. A tower swapping between different weapons as it levels up is nice. However, it didn't feel like it was executed the best. Me personally, I would do a toggle feature so that the tower can utilize all the weapons instead of swapping at each level. But it's not that big of a deal. This is going in F tier, simply because I hate this. This one isn't so much the game's fault, more so my fault. I haven't played the game much, so I don't really have a good setup for restauranting, and because of this, it took me a good 4 hours to complete it. I got so bored that I tried to get my friend Noah in here, but he was stuck in an escape room, so antics had ensued. This event is a solid D tier just because of the new user incompatibility. Ah yes, out of all the games Roblox could have chosen, it chose Lifetopia. Again! I genuinely hated the hunt event for this game because it was just 6 minutes of waiting. This event was much longer than 6 minutes however, and it still faces the same problem. I have to give it props, this event had you do stuff this time. But I think, just a little bit, that 15 rounds of errands is a little bit much. Just a little. Yep, you have to do 15 rounds of progressively harder errands. This just feels like such a dragged out event, and it doesn't even remotely resemble the classic in any way. I was genuinely hoping that this game learned, and it did in a way, but this was not the redemption I was looking for. D tier. This one was actually pretty fun. For this one, I brought along my friend Noah, and he did not like it. This guy was complaining the entire way through, but other than that, I had a lot of fun. I liked the mid-run events and the boss at the end. However, I couldn't fight the boss because I kept dying to something I like to call the catnap effect. Now pay attention because this will be relevant later. The catnap effect first showed up during my Poppy Playtime video, during the catnap boss fight, thus giving it its name. This effect gives a surge of delay to my keyboard, making some games that rely on any kind of movement a living nightmare. Now while it was minor now, the catnap effect will show up again, and it will cause a major problem. But for now, I don't really have to worry about that. So let's continue about Dusty Trip. The classic feel is very relevant with the zombies, the locations, the items, and everything else. This gets a solid A tier.
Hello there.
I'll be honest, this was better than I expected. For comparison, the hunt event was just collecting rabbits in a dressing room. That was it. However, this event didn't just copy that, but expanded on it, which is really nice honestly. After collecting all 10 ticks, which are scattered around like it is in every other game, instead of winning, you unlock a portal that sends you to a classic, slightly difficult obby. This was a very nice experience and a huge pleasant surprise. The only thing weighing it down, really, is the decor obby. This obby has misleading paths for the sole purpose of decor. This is honestly surprising as I have never seen anything like it, but it was just an inconvenience and it's nothing major. It's a B tier from me. You know, while I was doing this event, I was watching a Connor 3D tutorial when I came across this comment that describes this event perfectly. This game's quest describes the 5 stages of grief. Number 1, denial, because you can't believe that Adopt Me is in the classic event. Number 2, anger, because this quest is so stupid, time-wasting, and boring. Number 3, bargaining, because you start searching for glitches on how to make your pet grow faster on YouTube. Number 4, depression, because you forgot to turn your joints off and now all your friends are bullying you for playing Adopt Me. Number 5, acceptance, because you had to do this quest for the 5 shiny tokens. Stupidly Silly was right when they said this, as this event is boring, long, and extremely tedious. It revolves around you trying to make a teapot egg grow. Yep, that's it. That's the entire thing. It is that simple and that tedious. This was honestly pretty disappointing because it was one of the only real classic games on the roster. D tier for me. Arsenal was hands down one of the best events on this list. I don't know what got into Arsenal, but they are simply making the greatest events for Roblox. First, the helicopter mission with the hunt, and now the noob invasion event for the classic. I'm gonna be honest, I did get pissed at first, because I tried to do pistol only, in solo, on my first attempt, because I could knock out 3 challenges at once, which is how you get tokens on this mode. And one of the reasons I got pissed was because of V1, the only catnap effect. Yep, this purple crap is back to ruin my day. During this event, the delay catnap was causing was going to extreme levels. I couldn't move for 5 seconds, then I would move forward into a pit of lava with no way to control it at all. And this happened repeatedly. So much in fact, that on my final section, I had a hard time getting past the first jump. Yep. I proceeded to stop the recording and started again and went to triumph on the section. I then learned that I had to speedrun it. My first attempt took over an hour. An hour! Thankfully, I was able to resolve the catnap effect for now. But hey, for now is good enough for me. So about that speedrun, I kept trying and trying to speedrun the game, getting better and better times, and it might have actually gotten me into speedrunning. It was really fun, I'm not gonna lie. Despite its issues, I had a lot of fun with this event, and I feel no shame in giving it an S tier.
Stop it!
This game is literally just TikTok on Roblox. No, I'm not kidding. The mechanic where you teleport via swapping backgrounds is pretty cool, but that's about it. This entire event is just one huge scavenger hunt, and I don't think I could have gotten through it without a tutorial. There's really nothing else to talk about, so this is a C tier. I'll admit, I had fun during this event. At first. This was actually a pretty fun game, and I already understood the mechanics and how to use it to my advantage during the hunt. Plus, the boss was actually really fun. My problem, however, was the ticks. For some strange reason, collecting all the ticks was on the second list of the missions, when it should have been on the final. Because of this, I was heavily held back because of Ticks 10, which is the one in Enchanted Gardens. This ticks would not show up for the life of me, and every time it would, I would get targeted or the 1x1x1x1 boss would trump it. By the time I actually got to Ticks 10, it had been 2 hours. For context, I got the over 9 in the first half hour or so. So overall, I had fun until it started becoming really dragged out. C tier.
You playing Minecraft. I like your cut, G.
This event was notoriously hard, and I can see why. The penguins are extremely fast, but not to worry, because just like Blade Ball, I exploited the mechanics. Now, I didn't use exploits. That would be cheating, and I don't cheat here on the Glitch Manga channel. But what I mean by this is that I found errors in the system, and I used it to my advantage. For example, these penguins, they're too stupid to jump, and they will usually try and break the block in front of them instead of actually using their legs. I use this to make a long, 1 block tall defense. The penguins are also vulnerable in the back and can't attack you there, so it's best to jump over the penguins and attack them on the back. But even with that knowledge, this event was still very hard, and I was getting tired of it. Solid C tier. This is honestly a neat scavenger hunt. Flying around collecting eggs was fun, and quick. Now, I know this decision might be controversial as most people didn't enjoy Dragon Adventures, but look at this from my perspective. I just got finished playing Blade Ball and Bed Wars in a row, so something as quick as this was basically a treat for me. And I was extremely tired, so I got the radar. Yes, I know, boo me all you want. I was done with it. The gameplay revolves around collecting these 5 eggs and maps to summon a meteor. Somehow, ticks can also show up in these eggs, which is kinda nice. My only real problem was the recuperations to get the badges instead of getting it instantly. But it's too minor to count as an actual problem, so it's no biggie. This one gets a solid B tier. This is a game that has you driving in it, and you can also race in it. 22 times. Yep, I actually had to do a race 22 times in a row. Now, Driving Empire has a really nice looking classic map. It looks genuinely cool. The Takes is also the biggest I have ever seen, and has a huge hitbox to complement it. However, it is so big that I think I cheesed a few of the collection processes thingies. Yeah, I think some of it's broken. But back to the topic at hand. This event had you level up a battle pass via various missions. However, one was clearly much more efficient than the others, and that was the races, or race, singular. The race was giving out 13 points per race, while the other quest, the pickup, gave only 6 on a perfect run. It was very clear which was better. There's also a double point stain that I got in the 22 races I had to do. Yeah, it was affected by double. That means that anyone who didn't get the double game pass had to do 44 races in a row. This is D tier solely for that. This one was actually pretty decent. It first had you collect 10 ticks, much like Dress to Impress. However, instead of unlocking a portal, you progressively unlocked weapons for every 2 ticks you collected. After all 10 are collected, the slingshot, paintball gun, super ball, bomb, and rocket launcher are all obtained. You then have to tag players with said weapons a certain amount of times. However, I managed to cheese the bomb and rocket launcher as they both have AoE damage that can affect the player holding the bomb. So I just tagged myself a few times and managed to get it done. Also, I constantly ambushed the enemy base in order to get the other few tags. Honestly, A tier. I had fun with this. If I had to choose which game to do last, I am so glad it was Beeswarm. It not only was a fun event, but it was the most faithful to old Roblox as a whole. It was a wave defense game, with slimes and zombies that level up being the main enemies. They progressively got tougher and tougher, and you have to get better and better weapons to be able to keep up with them. The great text screens, the weapon givers, and the map as a whole gave this event the true classic feel. And I couldn't ask for a better event. S tier. Now I know that this technically doesn't count as a game, but I should talk about it because it's a pivotal part of the event, and so much of an improvement. Unlike the Hunt Hub, which was just a barren wasteland of blues and grays, this event had many challenges to beat, such as finding buried treasure, racing a spaceship, riding a cart along the map, and so much more. This hub was actually developed by Twin Atlas, the creators of Swordburst 3, which appeared in the Hunt. Now I have one nitpick of this event, and that is how you fully complete it. You see, at the time of writing this, to fully beat the event, you needed to buy the bling variants of items you obtain, and you need to get items from YouTubers, developers, and Roblox admins. And trust me, it is hard to get. Now, apart from those, I technically 100% did the event. This hub would have been an S tier, but the 7 badges are going to weigh it down to B tier. Because if you aren't lucky and don't have enough Robux, it is physically impossible to complete the event. Okay, editor's note here. While I was recording that little hub scene at the beginning, I got the badge for 100%. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess that the 7 extra badges was a bug in the system, but hey, I'm not complaining. I get the 100% badge. This goes up to A tier for that. Good job. And with that, we're done. Everything about the event has been covered, and there's nothing else to talk about. Wait, hold up. There's a final boss?! Yeah, there's a twist final boss, and it seals the coffin for this event. As much as having a final boss would have been cool, it was honestly so bad that it was hilarious. You just ran around and shot 1x1x1x1 with a rocket launcher until he died. Now look, I get this change was to replicate the classic feel of a final boss, and it was okay. The only thing I would really change is just to add a mechanic where 1x1x1x1 swaps between different tools to kill you, rather than just using a sword. It would have been much more engaging than walking in a circle. And to make things even worse, the reward for beating 1x1x1x1 is a sponsor for a sword that costs 39,999 Robux! Oh my god! What the hell is this?! So, what made the classic event fail as bad as it did? Well, there's a lot of factors that could have caused it, but I think the tier list I've been updating shows it best. It was yet again, the games. A common trend among these recent Roblox events is just how much the games drag it down. A lot of these games didn't make it past C tier, and that says a lot when it's about an event trying to fix what went wrong with the Hunt. but I do think this is a step in the right direction. From the hub being mostly amazing, to the amazing events from games like Arsenal and B-Storm. After all these years, these games are finally going in the right direction, and I am all for it. Hey everyone! Sorry this video took so long. I'm currently switching video editors at the moment, and it's taking a while to learn the ropes, but I think I got it. Comparing this to my last essay, you would have noticed that I used my PNGs a lot less than last time. Well, this is for two reasons. First off, less work for me, and second, you don't want to be staring at 8 variations of a PNG for 21 minutes straight. I honestly think that this is a good trade-off for both engagement and my sanity. I hope that I can make more videos like this in the future, because I like making these kinds of videos a lot. So if you have any suggestions, leave it down below. Oh, and speaking of video essays, thank you all so much for the support on my hunt video. I know it may not seem like much, but it truly means a lot that you guys care. Anyways, make sure to like, subscribe, and see ya!